sectional cutoffs. However, GK you need to get a minimum score depending upon the category. I have a slide later on which talks about which category what score, but general students will have a requirement of around 14 marks in GK, which is actually a tough call. The paper in GK was not very not very easy. Yes, some questions were easy if you have been following, but otherwise 14 is actually not something that a student can easily score if you are not specifically been preparing for TISSNET. Many of the students who prepare for CAT and ZAT and other MBA entrance exams, they don't focus too much on GK. However, in TISSNET, GK has a huge amount of weightage. It's 40 out of 100. So that and you need to have this minimum cutoff also. So that makes GK very, very important, and that is one of the reasons why not many toppers in CAT, toppers in ZAT will be able to crack this exam. So getting out of 40, getting 14, 13 is also an uphill task for many of the students. So let's go ahead and take a look at the questions that have been asked, the difficulty level in the section, and the comments that I can make based on the cutoffs, for the cutoffs based on my analysis. So let's go ahead. As I said, 100 minutes were given. It was +1 mark, 0 marks if it is wrong. So I hope all of you went ahead and answered all the 100 questions. There is no question that you should have left. There were, however, 1 or 2 errors in the quant section. I'll go about and I'll go and discuss it. But yeah, definitely I believe there were 1 or 2 errors. We'll discuss it, guys. But moving on, all 100 were, of course, MCQ. Okay. So the highlights, English was moderate level. I would say the RC in this English, the RC was actually difficult. Grammar was just about average or just above average. Vocab was average. Parajumble was actually easy. It was not very difficult at all. Parajumble was doable. Critical reasoning. This is the problem. Critical reasoning in this year, at least I felt, and I spoke to my faculty members who have written the exam, we all agree that somehow the critical reasoning questions were kind of messy, because we felt none of the answers were correct, or we had forcing to get to a correct answer, but none of them were obviously correct. So that's how it is not that the answers are closed, the answers didn't make sense. So 3 of them you can definitely say are ruled out, and the 4th answer which is left out does not make any sense at all. So that's how the questions were. But I'll get to that part later. I would say critical reasoning was difficult, RC was difficult, but CR were only 2 or 3 questions. RC were about, I think RC had 10 questions, if I'm not mistaken. 2 RC passages were given. So total about 10 questions came, I believe. And all the 10 questions were not very easy, not very straightforward, especially the RC passage itself was not very easy to read. At least it required a little bit of understanding from your part. Okay. When you go to maths and logical reasoning, the entire maths section I would say was easy. The DI part, the maths and logic was easy. The DI part had a bit of calculation. So the calculations were not very simple. It could be a bit lengthy. Some of you would have found it to be troublesome. That's the reason why I will say moderate for the DI part. Okay. Quant, QA and LR, I will call it as easy. Whereas DI, I would call it as moderate, or rather just above moderate to just slightly more than moderate. There were 3 into 3, 9 questions that have come from DI out of the 30. So 21 coming from quant logic, 9 coming from DI, 3 sets, one was table, one was a table given to you, 2 sets were bar graphs. Bar graphs, 2 sets. Each set had 3 questions. Okay. And of course, general awareness, as I said, was above moderate. I could also call it difficult. Some questions I didn't even know. Not that I'm a great, not that I'll call myself great in general awareness. I'm moderate in general awareness is what I would rate myself. Yeah. So getting 14, 15 marks. If you can get 15 or 16, it's a job well done in GK. Okay, clearing the cutoff itself is a major task in GK. So that's the problem. I would say this year it's actually a bit more difficult than what we would expect in the last year. I'll just ask my tech team to give me the comments so that I can see them properly, because I'm not able to see the comments properly. Let's see. I have already started getting some comments. Let me see what they are saying. Shiva, can you just turn it and make sure that I can see it properly? I'm not able to see this. Yes. Last year DI was easier. Yes, Naman, I agree. DI answers were not, Ankit, DI answers could be, calculated, but they were lengthy. Okay. TSD तो देखा नहीं भाई. TSD was very very simple. In fact, Mayur, one of the simplest questions came from TSD actually. Let's see. Compared to last year, how was the paper? I didn't get the exam. Okay. Compared to last year, I would say this paper was slightly on the higher side of difficulty, and I would expect the overall cutoff to go down by few marks. We'll discuss about that. Let's go ahead and take a look at what happened in each section. Yeah, two questions in quant, I would say, are erroneous. You can always argue whether the language is correct or not. What do they mean by it? But as far as the language is concerned, I would say they are not correct. Let's go ahead and take a look at English. English, 10 questions from RC, 4 from grammar, spot the error, 3 from fill in the blanks, prepositions, 4 from contextual vocab, 1 from spelling error, and 2 were from parajumbles. Parajumbles were, in fact, this entire part of verbal ability was easy. It was doable. The difficult part was your RC. RC definitely was not doable. The 10 questions, if you can get 4 to 5 questions or even 6, I would say it's a job very well done. I would say a good student in English will get about 6 correct and 4 wrongs. A very good student probably will get up 7 or 8. It is very difficult to get all 10 out of 10 correct. That's my assessment. An average student or below average student will probably get 4 corrects or 3 to 4 corrects in this. But yeah, these error questions I believe students should have done. In fact, all of these verbal ability questions students should have done. Okay? Right, got that. Let's move on. Antonyms. Okay, so in the verbal ability we have 2 antonyms, 1 synonym. Critical reasoning. So these 2 were, I would say, moderate or above moderate, basically because the answers were not really visible, or rather not making sense. There is a word meaning here. We had, in fact, I'll discuss the answers very very quickly. Reading comprehension. Negative impact of climate change on women and girls. This is 1 RC. 5 questions. 1 was direct, 1 was main idea of the passage, 2 inference based, and 1 critical reasoning based. Paper was definitely tough, my friends. What will be the cutoff for LLM? We'll talk about it. GK was tough, definitely. 64 to 66, Narendran would be very high in my opinion. It will go lower. It will probably be 60, 61 is what I would say. Probably in that range. This year it is definitely not like last year. Last year 67 was the general category cutoff. I'm expecting the cutoffs to go lower by 3-4 marks at least this year. Okay. All right. Okay. GK is the easiest. Sonalika Singh. Wow, Sonalika, you would have. I mean, you are one student who says GK is easiest. I don't know how many of you would think so. Definitely, I would not think that GK is easy. Okay. Cutoff could be 61 to 63. Let's see, Rahul. Just hold on till I reach the end of the PPT. I'm going to talk about the cutoffs very very soon. Then the second RC was on socialization in sports. Again, the RC was tedious. Both RCs were tedious to read. They were not very easily understandable. One passage of the RC was easy kind of to understand. The remaining part of the RC was not very easy to understand. So I would rate the reading of the passage itself difficult, and the questions did not make it easy either. Okay. Right, so let's go ahead. In quant we had time, speed and distance, profit and loss, statistics. There's one question from statistics. Geometry and mensurations, numbers, Venn diagram, probability. So this is the total number of questions we had from quant. And then we had DI, mixtures, ratios, direction sense. Then we have calendars, clocks, progressions, and table. Table was one set, basically one single question. It was a very interesting logical question. It's a very old puzzle. I mean, I have come across when I was a kid. I was asked by my teachers at that point in time when I was in like 8th class or 9th class. It's a very, very old puzzle. Many of you would have come across that particular puzzle where you say, you withdraw money and you look at balance and you total this, and you say, okay, they're not matching, what is wrong? Yeah. Yeah, ChatGPT. I think the answer was also wrong for ChatGPT. It was, yeah, the G full form was GP. Yeah, pre-generative. I think it a pre-generative transformer. So that pre and instead of generative they gave something else, if I'm not mistaken. Calendar question was not wrong, Naman. That is correct. Yeah, Ayush, I agree. ChatGPT was wrong and we choose the most closest answer to it. The pre-generative, the generative word was missing. They gave something else in place of generative. I don't remember what was it. I was searching for it. It wasn't there. So I marked the one which had G correct. P, pre was correct. T was a correct transformer. But pre, the suffix of that I'm forgetting. What was it? Okay. So we had 9 questions from DI. So let's quickly go ahead, guys, and take a look at what are the correct answers. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. General awareness, total we had 18 GK questions, static GK 22, total 40. So those of you who've been following current affairs will be able to get 18 of them. But again, 14 was the cutoff. Expecting 18 from here is difficult. You'll probably get around 7 or 8, and you'll expect to get about 8 or 9 from here. That's the idea. Aman, you can see GK was you could almost say it's an even breakup, slightly tilting towards static GK, but it's more or less equal. You can say 18-22 is not that much of a difference. Okay. Yes, Alex, if you mark your question with review marked, it will be counted. If you mark the answer there, it will be counted. It will be counted if you mark the answer. DA was not easy, DA was lengthy. Guys, the thing about DI is, this is the big part, it was lengthy. The concept was not difficult, please understand. The concept was easy, percentage change, it is easy. So when I say DI is easy, it is not the question totally. The concept was easy, but the calculation was lengthy. So if I combine these two, I would say it is moderate and above moderate. So this will lead to moderate plus, or you could, moderate plus could be between moderate and difficult. Not exactly difficult, but not exactly moderate either, in between them. Okay, please remember, the questions asked in DI, the concepts behind were easy to understand. Look at the bar graph. You have to just count how many days where the values more than on which Monday was it more than 15 or something like that. Which of the following was correct? You just have to count. Then they asked level 1 and level 2, that is 20 kilometers per hour and 30 kilometers per hour. Total should be 50% of the total. How many days was it happening? Again, simple counting, but lengthy. It is lengthy. That's all. Okay. Right. So GK was done. Then let's go ahead. Maths. Okay, guys, I'm now going to discuss the maths questions. The first question answer is already here. 32%. Right. So guys, if you want me to go ahead and discuss the key, please give me a like right now. Please give me a like right now. I'm going to discuss the entire quant as well as the English section. GK will be discussed later. GK will be discussed later. I'm going to discuss the quant and English questions today. Clear? Now, if you want me to go ahead, please give me a like. I want to see more likes on the video. That will help us know that you guys are liking it, and we will go ahead and take care of your further session of GK2. Okay? Right. So the first question here is the profit and loss question. The answer is 32%. I hope you guys got it. Closing price of stock. This was the statistics question, and the answer was 3 for this. The answer was 3 for this. Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, all these 3 days will be counted. These 2 will not be counted. So these 3 will be counted. So the answer is 3. The answer was 3. Okay? Yeah, there's 1200, not 1250. Correct. 1250 is incorrect, 1200 is correct, but anyway, the answer is still 32. That was it. That won't change. Right? Vishnu, everybody should have done that, randomly selecting, because there is no negative marking. There is no negative marking. So everybody should have marked something or the other. Let's go ahead. The next question was collinear points. The answer was 0. Collinear points, the answer was 0. Moving ahead, this was a question which was wrong in my opinion. Look at the question. The question said, Gopal went 90 meters east. So you're going 90 meters east like this. Okay, you're going east 90. And turned right 20 meters. Then turned left 30. Then you're going north for 100. Now look at the question. The question says, how many meters did he walk? That's all. How many meters he walked? You have to count all of them. You have to count all of them. If you count all of them, the answer will be 240. If you count all of them, the answer will be 240. However, they gave the answer as the shortest distance. So they gave something as the answer, they asked something else. Strictly speaking, the answer should not exist. They should cancel this question. Strictly speaking, the answer should not exist. They should cancel this question. Okay, but let's see what TIS does for this. In my opinion, this question should be deleted or give marks for everyone, whichever way. Okay. So if you want to look at the shortest distance, this will be how much? 100 minus, so this will be 80. 90 minus 30, 60. So it is root of 6 square plus 8 square into 10. So 10 into root of 36 plus 64, which is 100. So 100 is your answer, provided the language used was shortest distance. But I clearly remember they asked for the total distance. So my opinion, the question is incorrect. Ankit, marks will get or not doesn't matter. Whatever will happen to everyone. Either everybody will get a 0 or everybody will get 1 mark. So it will not affect your marks. Yeah, Sayani. So how much did they walk means? What do you mean by how much did he walk? So how much did he walk is everything counted, right? If I say you ate 2 rotis and 3 puris and I don't mention rotis or puris to you. I just asked what did you eat or how many items did you eat? You will say total 2 items, or you can say 2 plus 3, 5 items. Why will you say the answer only to rotis or only to puris? Right? It is not mentioned. I'm just asking you what did you eat or how much did you eat? Right? Yeah, Narayan, don't worry. Even I wasted some time on this. I thought a lot of possibilities. Then I said, okay, fine. There was 140 also. I thought probably 240. They mistyped it as 140. Whatever. Let's not worry about it. Dharavart says a question given to me is wrong. No, there's nothing wrong in this. This is the correct question. At least what I got in front of me. That is the question that appeared, and the question is correct, but the answer options are incorrect. Okay. Hakuna. Distance from the start does not always mean shortest distance. They have to use the word shortest. They have to use the word shortest. For example, look at this. I'll give you an example. If you're going from point A to point B like this, this is 30 and this is 20, and if I ask you how much did you travel, will you say this is what you traveled? Or will you say you traveled 50 kilometers? What is your answer? If you traveled 30 here and you traveled 20 here and you reached point B, my question is, what is the distance you traveled? Whether I use the word total or not doesn't matter. If I ask you how many kilometers did you travel, your answer will be 50. But if I ask you, what is the shortest distance from the starting point to end point? Shortest distance from starting point to end point. Then this is the answer for you. So if the word used is traveled, which means you have to take the route that the person has gone. Okay? Right, let's move on, guys. Okay, then we have a 2-digit number, simple question. The answer is 2 for this, nothing much to worry about. The two options, two values are 24 and 42. So 2 are such values. Then here was a question on Venn diagrams. The answer was 55%. Then we have, I think this was the same thing which came. Okay, this came twice. Okay, that's okay. Then we had Ashoka said, okay, so here 29 Feb 1900, this is 1960 now, it's 1900. 1900 is not a leap year, so 29th Feb does not exist. Therefore, Ashoka is lying. That is the answer. Okay? Ashoka is lying. Then we have, okay, look at this question. Either A is 200 meters from B and B is 100 meters from C, or A is 300 meters from C. This is the question. And here the answer is 1 and 3. 1 and 3 is the answer. Okay, 1 and 3. That was the correct answer. The option was 1 and 3. Then we have a combination log. So the answer here, okay, this is not 496. The answer here is 1 by 961. The answer to this combination log question is 1 by 961. Then we have cubes question. The cubes question is 9 root 3. Cubes question is 9 root 3. Then we have bike travels up the mountain, lower of the mountain. The answer is 12 kilometers. The answer here is 12 kilometers. Then we have, okay, this is 35 to the power of, okay, 3 to the power of 5 actually, sorry, this is, and this is 3 to the power of 10 and 3 to the power of 5 in the denominator. So basically this is the answer, 3 power 10 plus 1 by 3 power 5. This is the answer. It's a very easy simplification question, nothing great about it, right? Then we have, if we change the shape of an object from the cylinder to sphere, then the volume of the cylinder will not change. When in these questions, again, this is again the problem. What are they assuming? They are assuming that the thickness is the same. I can change the volume by changing the thickness of the walls. If I make it thinner, thinner means the wall thickness, if I make it thinner, then I will have more volume. I can have more volume. Okay, so here again the language, I'm not really happy with the language they have used for such a repeated college. It's not, if you can't make 30 questions without errors, that's a problem for me as far as the quality of the question paper goes. You are one of the top 10 institutes, definitely number 1 for HR. You can't come up with a paper which has language barriers, language errors. That's something which I would always say is a indication of how seriously they are putting an effort, how serious an effort they are putting on in making the paper. I'm being very negative in terms of this. Any exam which can't come up with once a year proper question paper has a problem with respect to me. At least I have a problem with respect to the paper. Alright, but let's go ahead. The answer here is unchanged. It is not increase. It is unchanged. It is not increase. It is unchanged, guys. Unchanged. Unchanged. Shrikant, don't say degraded institute. I will not say the institute is degraded. Definitely it is still one of the top-notch institutes. It's just that it feels bad to see that you're not giving the due importance for the selection process. Okay? Right, let's move on. The minute hand of a clock, the answer is 6.28 centimeters. What is the decimal equivalent? Again, this is power 2. This is the answer is 0.0625. 0.0625. Yeah, JV. Zat had 3 or 4 errors. This question paper was ambiguous. One question was definitely wrong in this. 1 or 2 other questions were ambiguous in each other. There's one more question which is ambiguous. I'll talk about it. In fact, CAT we had, I think CAT this time there were no errors if I'm not mistaken. I don't think there were errors in CAT this year. But yeah, it's a problem when you can't make such a repeated institute. If you can't make one question paper properly in 1 year, then well, you're teaching management at the end of the day. So anyway, let's move on. How many liters? So this is 120 to 300 is the answer for this. Okay. Well, let's move on. Okay, so there is a probability question that we had. The answer was 7 by 20. Probability of task is one task can be done, the other task cannot be done. That is the question that was asked. Okay, now this is the question where the language was used. Language is a problem. The answer is 5 by 8, but you have to assume something that they mean. The question was, what is the fraction of female student? So the word they used is female student, not even female, they used girl. Girl student, students and faculty. Now, is this girl only to students? Is the girl word applicable only to the students, or is it even applicable to the faculty? Who knows? You have to be very specific in such a question. Thankfully, if you take the ratio of girl students and girl faculty, that is women faculty, the answer does not exist in the options. Therefore, you will conclude that okay, if you take girl student and total faculty, my bad, if you take girl student plus total faculty by total, this answer does not exist. But if you take girl student plus girl or girl faculty is wrong, I will use women lady faculty, by total, then the answer is 5 by 8. Once again, ambiguity. Okay? Kaustubh, ideally for erroneous, I don't think this they will call it as erroneous. They ideally, see, if you argue technically this is wrong because it is ambiguous, but they will say, look, if you are smart enough, you'll realize what I meant, because one option was there, the other option was not there. You can look at both options, both calculations, and come up with one answer. But definitely the other question on time, the direction sense and distance calculation, I would 100% say that is wrong. Because no way you can argue that you should know what I meant. Because what you meant is exactly what we understood, and what we understood is not there in the options. Okay? Yeah, Adnan, that's what I'm saying. Female students was mentioned and faculty was mentioned. So what they meant was female student plus female faculty. That is what they meant. But they didn't give it like that. So when you mean something but you write something else, you are wasting students' time unnecessarily. Okay? Then we had this question on Raman paying 1680 including GST and how much money. Okay, so this is 345. Right? The answer is 345. Sindhu, it doesn't really matter whether they delete or give the marks for all. The meaning is the same, right? Everybody will increase by 2 marks, or everybody will not increase by 2 marks. Everybody will, will get 0 for that. Anyway, let's go ahead. Then we had one question on this withdrawal. The answer here, okay, this was a triangular shape. This was 138. This was a progressions question. They gave it as a triangle to confuse it as geometry, but it is not geometry. It is pure progressions. You have to look at the arithmetic progression decreasing that too. So the answer is 138. Then we had a question on this. The correct answer is, okay, this is not correct. This was logic, or rather the, what was that? The inference. Inference cannot be made. That is the option. Inference cannot be made is the correct answer. Okay? Then we have DI questions coming up. DI questions, let's go ahead and take a look at them. At what percentage? So there's 30% in this. One answer was 30%. One answer was 11.89. And one answer was at least 3. No, so this is wrong, sorry. At most 3 point something, 3.7 or 3.8, something like this. At most 3 point something, that was the answer. I don't remember which one is it. This is not at least 3, at least 3 is incorrect. It was at most 3 point something. I don't remember what is the decimal. So if somebody remembers, can help me out here. Data insufficient is not same, Shubh. Data insufficient means what is being given to you is not sufficient to calculate. That is not correct. That is not correct. Inference cannot be drawn. That is the correct answer. 3.76 is it? Yeah, 3.76. Yeah, this is the correct answer. At most 3.76. Okay? Right, let's move on. Next, we had one more set on this. Number of transactions, we converted that into a table because it was easy for us. In 1 hour, we had to make this entire PPT. So we converted the graph into table, which is easy for us. But this is not a table, this is a graph. This is a graph question actually. Okay. And the graph questions, let's look at it. The one question was 354. What was the other at most? I don't remember the other at most, but I'm pretty sure it was 3.76 was the at most. Then we had 45% here. One more option was 45%, and we had one more. 40 and 1354 was one. 1354 was one value. 45% was the other answer, and we had here 354. In fact, this and this 1354. If you solve one, you'll get the other one. Both of them were linked. Okay. Then the last DI question, it was again a graph, bar chart. You just had to count. So the questions were very easy here. First answer was greater than or equal to 15. There was one option which had greater than or equal to 15 on Monday. So that is correct because Monday value is 16. So this is correct. Then there's another answer, how many days in locations 1 and 2? So that is 4 days. Then we had Monday and Wednesday as the third answer. So guys, these are the answers in your quant. All 30 questions we have discussed in quant. Let's go ahead and quickly take a look at the English answers. General awareness will have a separate session, so I'm not discussing general awareness. We'll have complete session for general awareness, but let's go and take a look at the verbal part. So now we could not put in all the questions simply because we did not have time, but we are putting in the answers. Okay? Guys, so take a look at the answers for English. Okay, so 20 questions in English we are able to come up. First one was grammar. The correct answer mistake was in he was. It was supposed to be he had been. Then the second grammar was best available option, B. Okay, so this was, I think, these things I think we missed it. We'll come back to you on this. This was buzzing downbeat. That was the answer here. Riveting and sparkled was the answer. In off was the answer. Parajumbles was not given to us, or rather there's one answer where your word was by. Then the answer here was verbose. Alleviate was one answer. Promote was one answer. Words dazzling, this is a error. You have to select the error or the part of the sentence which was error. JV, it is not just me. There are about 4 or 5 faculty members from our institute who go and write. We collect the answers together and we bring it back. I remember all the quant, somebody else remembers GK, somebody else remembers English. So 3-4 members go and write. It's not just one. I don't have that kind of a memory. Sorry. Okay, JV. What is the time by your watch? Yes, yeah, this is the time wala. Time by your watch. That's the correct answer. Then incongruous was the correct answer for one more. They also fail was one answer. Petrified was the spelling. This is not only but also. Not only but also kind of a question this was. Then tendency and lead was one. This is about software tech industry. That is the answer. Then engage. Engage, I don't think if this was the answer. Yeah, I think engage, yeah. And then there's one more CR. Both CRs were very, very ambiguous, my friends. None of the 4 options made any sense, to be very honest. Okay, so guys, cutoffs last year, HRM LR was 67, EWS was 62, SC was 57, NCOBC was 61, General Armed Forces was 64. My opinion, this year everything will come down by -4 to 5 marks, which means I can expect this to be in the range of 60 to 62, this to be in the range of 57 to 59, this will be in the range of 52 to 54, this will be in the range of 57 to 58, this could be in the range of 58 to 59. This is what I'm expecting this year. The cutoffs will go down. The cutoffs will go down. Okay? Right, so guys, we will have a GK session coming up for you. All 40 questions will be discussed on GK and the correct answers will be given, because that has a cutoff requirement. So we'll be taking a separate analysis on that. So be tuned onto our channel for us to give you the benefit of the GK questions as mentioned. So yeah, this was the cutoffs for last year. 14 marks for General, EWS, KM and AF, and PWD and OBC was 12 marks, and SC and ST no cutoff applied. Okay. Right, so the weightage of this particular exam, if you get through the first stage, then it is 50% for TISS, 20% for extempore, and 30% for your interview. Sucheta, we will also come up with other marks cutoffs, so you can see, guys, last year cutoffs are public knowledge. It is there on the public's, it is there on their website. Take the last year's cutoffs, reduce them by 4 to 5 marks. That's the approximate range you can look at. Okay, I didn't have a slide, we didn't have time enough to put up a slide for all the cutoffs, but we will come back to you with all the cutoffs very, very soon. Okay. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the session. You got information about both English and Quant. We will be coming back to you with the GK part very, very soon. So please be tuned into our channel. Click on the subscription button as well as the bell icon so that you get the notification about all the sessions we are conducting. We are also conducting last lap sessions for your MA CET preparation and CMAT preparation. I am taking sessions on innovation and entrepreneurship. So if you're interested in writing your CMAT, please do attend all these sessions without missing. Right? Thank you, my friends. See you in the next one.